Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 32, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays and release it on podcast services like Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and other amazing platforms. So definitely show us some love and give us a follow or like on any podcast service to not miss an episode. I am Davis Green with CFG Games, and with me are my two awesome co-hosts. Before I introduce them, I will want to give an update. Last season we had Flexus over. Unfortunately, Flexus will not be with us anymore. She actually found she is now doing a new project that doesn't allow her to be a part of podcast itself. It's conflict of interest. So we parted good ways. We still talk to her. She's definitely doing really good things. So definitely support her also on Flexus, Flexus __. But we got a new a co-host with me. Yep. And she was a guest originally. It seems like that's where we go with. We find the guests and then they become permanents with us. But we have Lex, aka This Is Lex, who does awesome stuff. So definitely check her out. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Oh, awesome.
I can't really complain. I'm doing amazing. Today was fun. I woke up early and started grinding on Monster Hunter World.
You have a problem. You clearly have a problem. I mean, no, it's a good problem, but it's a problem. It's funny. Like earlier this week, I saw you. I was like, "Oh, cool, Lex is streaming," and you're playing with like Doc Limitless and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. You're playing some Monster Hunter." So I go to bed. Wake up like at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. Then I go and turn on my computer, and then you're still at it. And I was like, "What the?" It's like, "What the heck is going on?"
Hardcore
grind is real.
You are hardcore, and what's even crazier, you weren't even at Iceborne yet. You were just going at the story so severely. It was
trying to
amazing.
get to it.
Yeah,
but guess who's at Iceborne already?
Yes. There you go. So definitely made it. That's awesome. So definitely welcome to the team, Lex. I really appreciate it. Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully, definitely we're gonna have some really good discussions with you. And awesome. You hope so. It's going to happen. Yes. Also, we got the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. How are you doing?
Ooh, doing well, my friend. I hope everybody had a good holiday. We're in the new year. It's 2020. It's been grindy, as is, because everybody's taking off the holidays and this and that. So you come back to the beginning of the year, hitting it hard. I was excited. I got to announce today that through my place of work, we're starting another gaming podcast or a gaming podcast through the Review Journal. So that's going to be starting January 29th. I think that's going to be a lot of great opportunities, being able to go out to do events and things like that. And it's going to be fantastic because not only am I going to be able to, work that, but then also with the CFG Gamecast, hopefully we can bring in some audience from there over to here, and vice versa, getting exclusive and be able to get in and get some good interviews, doing challenges and stuff like that. So I'm super excited about that opportunity. And it's been a grind of a start to 2020, but it has been rewarding already. So I'm excited.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, it's the beginning of the year and we already feel like we're already all busy as it is, So so definitely. And yeah, and also this is going to be this is the very first time ever this is the first time ever here at CFG Gamecast is that we got 4 people at the same time. So we have a special guest this time around, and it's going to be Tasherre from Tasherre Plays Games. He was a guest at the very early beginnings of it, and he definitely plays especially a lot of Division 2, some awesome random variety game streamer. How are you doing, buddy?
I am great, sir. How are you?
I am doing great. Super good, man. So what
feels good to be back.
Yes, I know, right? So like when I told her like what we were going to be doing, and you're like, yeah, I want in on this. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll get you in.
Yes, let's go. Damn it.
Arguments are coming.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So it's going to be very funny. So let's get to it. I know we have a lot of different kinds of stuff here going at it, and we will be talking. Let's get our discussions on. We're going to be doing a special episode this time around. So this is the beginning of the year. This is our very first podcast back. We're going to be talking about our Game of the Year picks. But before we do that, as always, let me just do the normal rigmarole. So we'll each of us picks a news topic of discussions within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry. And we don't just want to talk about it with our own topics. We want you, the listeners / viewers, to also be a part of it too. So if you have an opinion, definitely type it inside the chat. We'll put if it's a really interesting opinion, we'll put it a part of the podcast, and we will talk about it amongst the little group of us here. So definitely,
oh man,
yeah, definitely check it out, and let's get it going. So like I said, we're gonna dedicate this whole podcast of our Game of the Year discussion. So it's gonna be an all around. So let's start with Smitty. I'm actually really interested in what your one is. Smitty, is your thing on? Maybe yeah, I see the thing saying that
I think I got it now. I essentially had to make it mono, so I should be good.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, sorry. Yes, Game of the Year. What we were talking about and whatnot. I just want to preface too. I couldn't.
Oh hell.
I'm. This is not the Game of the Year. This is what I feel in my heart is the Game of the Year. Obviously, it didn't come out this year. Destiny 2. Obviously, I've been having a lot of fun with that. That's not what we're going to talk about, though. We're going to talk about for me, and I thought they did a fantastic job with this. Wait, what did you say? I totally missed what you said.
Retrolex's.
I was laughing at Retro.
Retrolex's Anthem.
We're gonna talk about that too. We're
trying to start 2020 on a brand new start, and you're gonna be bringing that much kind of shade already, Retro. Come on,
taking it back to 20.
I know it. Rude. Yeah, Borderlands 3 for me really filled a looter shooter void that I was missing. Obviously, kind of like you guys were saying, Anthem I thought was gonna fill that void, but that definitely fell short for me. We were talking about this a little bit earlier too, and Tash, you're right. It is a fun game. It just didn't do what I would say Borderlands 3 did. There are so many weapons. There are so much, different stuff to do in that game. The characters, the story was fun. Everything about it. I really enjoyed. Again, I'm newer to the Borderlands series. I did beat. Thank you to Ermagerd. Borderlands 2. So it made it, for me at least, made it more fun coming into this world, into this new one. And they did a really good job. I know there's a new DLC that's out. I haven't had an opportunity to try that out yet. But again, this is one of those games that there's so much to do. There's fun customization. There's so many different weapons and stuff like that. Like it's just a lot of fun to play. And you can play at any point in time. You can play it by yourself. You can play it with people. I just, for me, this game just really stood out overall for in 2020 for me.
Okay.
Is it still coming to Steam?
Yeah, it is.
I know it had an exclusivity deal with
I believe it's 8. I want to say 8 months. It's not a full year. It's either 6 or 8 months. I can't remember, but yeah. It's going to be coming to Steam. It's kind of weird that Stadia got it before Steam did, but yeah, I mean, like, that
was smart.
That was smart, but man,
on their part, bring traffic.
Yeah, but I mean, how much traffic? Because I mean, the biggest problem was that there was no update. There was no update on it. It wasn't up to date. It wasn't the most up to date version of it, and that's on Gearbox for some odd reason. And so I don't know what, but yeah. But back to Borderlands itself. The only Borderlands I've really played was Tales from the Borderlands. I haven't played any of the FPS.
Really?
Yeah, I've never played any of them. I want to, but I never had a chance to try it out. So like, I've never understood like what makes Borderlands so good. Is it the story? Is it just the customization of the guns? Like what made Borderlands 3 your pick, Smitty?
Just again for me, and it's just it's all preference and what type of games that you enjoy. I really enjoy looter shooters, for me, and being able to have just that wide range of weapons and things like that. There's all these little like nooks and crannies that you can go into, and I like being able to explore like that. And then it's just a fun game. The fact that you can play it with friends. You can play it solo. There's a ton of quests and side story stuff, and I mean, it's really one of those games that you can continue playing over and over. You can run it with different characters, and then they've already dropped out of DLC. I gotta say too, I feel like it was a rather smooth launch as far as with the game. You really didn't hear too much negative talk about this game. They made changes and adjustments and stuff like that pretty quickly. Like, I think overall they did a really good job with this release, and it just it just really stood out to me here in 2019.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's fair enough. I mean, I don't know. Have any of y'all played Borderlands 3? Lex or Tosh?
I have not. Just I'm waiting for Steam.
Secretly, yes.
Secretly,
Adam.
All right, explain.
Dust, aka Adam, my significant, was playing it with Smitty, and I want to say this was in October before the move when we combined both houses into one. When I would go over on the weekends, if he wasn't playing, I was playing it. And I think I got to play with Smitty a little bit one night. I wasn't very good. I did enjoy it. It was definitely a game that I would get into. At that time, I was kind of obsessing over like 2 or 3 other games. And so in my head, there just wasn't room in my little gaming heart for that one at that moment. It's definitely a game I plan to go back and play at some point. It's just not it didn't speak to me like the other ones that I was into at the time did. But it is a really great game, and I love watching other people play it, which for a streamer who does watch other players and other streamers and enjoys their content, a lot of the times I'm there to talk to the streamer and not necessarily care about what they're actually playing. But that's a game that I actually enjoy watching in and of itself because it's a really cool storyline and the graphics are awesome for someone who's visually impaired. There's certain colors that just pop on it, and it's really interesting for me to watch.
The cell shaded, basically the cell shadedness of it, like how the colors pop off on it. Yeah, that's true.
And like there's a teal that they use that I've never seen used on any other game, and I don't know what it is, but like my brain's like yes.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool.
Feels good. That sounds good.
Literally, it's enjoyable to watch.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, it's cool. And it's on my to play list, but I'm gonna wait. I mean, basically where it comes down. I think the only knock from it that I've ever heard on it wasn't even because it was the game. It was more because it was an exclusive on the Epic Store.
Yep.
So I think that's
right. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that was really the big thing. It's going that it was really that it really pulled off of it. But for the most part, you're right. I think the game released. Did it have a giant day one patch when it came out, or was it?
I know there was something within that first week. They had a couple of quick patches.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I don't remember hearing something giant on day one.
Yeah,
I don't remember there being anything major like patch wise. And they did some cleanup relatively quickly within that first week and whatnot. But I don't remember there being anything where I was just like, oh wow, I'm just lagging all over the place or anything like. Just that just like really stands out to me. I felt like it was for an opening, it was relatively smooth.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely been on my radar. I don't know, like since I'm kind of biased on the fact that it's I don't usually like playing FPSs, but I do like FPSs with story. I think that game would definitely do a good fit for me personally. Yeah, so like but definitely we'll need to check that one out and see how it is. So that's good. That's a good pick, Smitty. All right. Yeah. And Lex, what about you? What would you say your game of the year would be?
Well, my game of the year apparently doesn't count.
Okay, you know what? You want to throw it in there? Throw it in there. It's like I said, it's subjective. What is it?
So throw it in. So if we're gonna say Monster Hunter World Iceborne doesn't count, I'm gonna have to go Void Bastards, man. I played the daylights out of that game. I love the DLC that came with it. There's everything about that game. It's almost like Borderlands, but Ben Lee did an amazing job. Just the whole art style is phenomenal. It's kind of like Futurama meets it's just, I don't know, it's so cool and I love it. And every time I play it, I scream Pickle Rick at least 4 times because it just reminds me so much of Rick and Morty. And it's so cool and it's so immersive. And you feel safe for a little bit and then you're in trouble. And then it's definitely a 1-person game. And I don't think they're going to make it a multiplayer. But in all honesty, it doesn't feel like it necessarily needs it. Anytime we play it on stream, everyone enjoys it. It's hilarity always ensues. And just the little like minute details. Like, for instance, over the loudspeaker when you're on a ship and you're looting it, they'll say just the funniest things. And it's hysterical and the accents are great. And when you run into like the juvies, they yell at you and say, I see you, butt face. And you never get over it. And it just makes you crack up. And it's just one of those games that even if you're not winning, like it's okay because it's so much fun. And even when you're getting murdered, you forget that maybe you have a heart starter. And then it brings you back into the game and you were about to stand up and walk away. And then you panic and it's just the whole game in and of itself is a delight. I love it. I can't get enough of it, and I play it more than I probably should.
That's a roguelike, correct?
So it's a looter game for sure. I don't know if it would categorize as a rogue. I mean, Smitty, correct me.
Because with the roguelikes, every time you die, they configure the map. It's not the same. At least that's what I heard about this particular game. I don't know if that's it.
It
that's
depends on where you're going. So some ship layouts are going to be the same, and then others aren't. So there's like categories of ships. So I would say there's like 4 different layouts of each ship, but there's different ships. So there's luxe ships, which are supposed to house tourists going across the galaxy to wherever. And so those ones have like rooms and things. And the general layout for those is going to be the same. It's very rare that you'll run into one of those that doesn't have like an oxygen room, for instance. And it tells you before you board. So there's certain things that it'll say, and it kind of gives you keys to say like, maybe I don't want to board that one. I only get 8 minutes of oxygen and I have to go from the back to the front immediately. But they're all pretty... The layout of each grouping of ships is pretty similar. They're almost identical to navigate. They just kind of move things around here and there, but not too much.
Okay.
So if you've been on one class of ships and you're going back to that class in a different category, like in a different depth, it's almost the same. Maybe, the fuel is on one end and not the other.
That was the one thing that, and I don't want to take your subject, but that was the one thing that turned me off with other roguelikes, because I played one called Rogue Legacy, that every time you die, they reconfigure map. It's a completely different map, and you just have to find your way right back through the castle. The other one was, is it Dead Pixels? Is that the name of it?
Dead Pixels.
Dead Cells.
Dead Cells. Yeah, Dead Cells.
Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah.
That was another one where every time you died, it was a completely different map. Or every time you restart the game, it was a completely different map. It's like, I'm never going to finish
that. Sounds kind of cool, though.
No, Dead Cells was a great game when it came to that. Yeah, you're totally right.
It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. So maybe the ship classes, maybe you had a freighter, a luxe, and then a healing ship. And when you die and you get thrown back into your main ship and you come back, maybe they're in like a different order. But the actual items you're going for are going to be on at least the same page of ships that you were looking for it on. So it kind of sucks because you're having to go back to like the feeder ship that drops you off from the get-go. But it'll still drop you off in the same depth. Which sometimes sucks because you don't want to be in that depth anymore. You've regretted your decisions. But it's so fun. I don't know how to explain it more than that. It's just...
Check that out.
It's
on Game Pass, and I've been looking at it. But when I saw that roguelike, I was like,
it's like you can borrow PTSD. My Steam account. Yeah. Borrow my Steam account and play it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that's that's a cool thing. And before anyone says anything, I will say this because I know Zen Headshot said something earlier about saying they would obviously want to throw in Iceborne. Iceborne is a good game, and don't give me that crap, okay? Don't give me that at all. All right, but I'm just saying this, okay? Iceborne, yes, Iceborne is a great game. I love Iceborne. I play that game probably not to the extent of what Lex does, but I do love the game. But I don't count that as something that would be game of the year because it's not really technically it's not a game, it's an expansion of a game that came came out.
I'm going to debate you.
Okay, yes, let's go with the debate. Let's go with the debate.
Slightly.
Yes.
Slightly. The only reason I personally would say yes, and I'm not a huge Monster Hunter player or fan. However, that price ain't cheap. That is a full game price. It's like what, $45-$50 for that expansion?
Yeah.
And it's just as long, if not longer, than the main game, from what I understand.
$40.
It is well, yeah. Wait, you got it on PC though, so it's 40, but when it first came out, it was about, I think it was 60 when it first came out. And and then on the back, I mean, I went to when that came out, I went to Japan and I bought their collector's edition too, so that was no joke too. So whatever. But anyways, no, but like, and yeah, I see the logic of that. It's a full price game, but then again, at that same point, in that same counterpoint, this isn't anything different than we've seen in the past. I mean, look how Call of Duty. Remember how Call of Duty had their expansions for like its full price at $80 more than what the full game values were. Or, but yet, WoW expansions. When you get the collectors when they first came out. You're
still not speaking my language, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that it's just like, it's not like, I mean, like, yeah, the price is the reason why that the game was as priced as the game is that I think it's beyond more than just an expansion pack. True, I will admit to that, but it's not but it's still not a standalone game. It's not like a game because the game they added features to an existing game that's been out for over 2 years. So like they just refined it a little bit better, but they didn't make it its own kind of thing.
So you're saying because it's not like Dishonored 2, that DLC expansion where you can just buy that game, you don't have to buy Dishonored. You're saying because it's like that.
Yeah, it's
not like that. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Because like when you play Iceborne, you have to have the original. You have to have the original base game. If you don't have the original base game, you can't just put it in and just play it. You have to have it because it needs whatever it needs to connect. Which is kind of weird to me because it feels like, for the most part, there are parts in the story that it feels like that you do go to the old area, but for the most part, it feels like it's a standalone game for the most part because of the new areas. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Lex?
No, I get what you're saying.
However,
right. Thank you. So I hit Iceborne last night. I beat the game. I'm so excited. I woke up early so I could get on and play it this morning. And I honestly expected, because there's a portion of the game where you have to go to the third fleet and they have a floating ship, if for anyone that doesn't know.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. You kind of have what
I have not beaten it.
So that's not too much of a spoiler. I mean, there's like it's basically like a floating camp. And it, for the majority, has what you need, but you do have to go back to Asteria to do certain things. Even though you're on a mission on the third fleet. And I assumed with Iceborne that was going to be the similar case. I was going to have to go back to Asteria every time I needed something. And I was pleasantly shocked when I opened it up this morning and I saw the entire camp for Iceborne. And I just was like in awe. Yeah. And I told Adam last night, I said, I don't care if I'm light sensitive and this game is going to be that hard for me to play. I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to play this game and I'm going to freaking love it as much as I loved Monster Hunter, because I freaking love it.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting for a year for this game. A year. I was endgame on PlayStation.
A year, Davis. A year.
I was endgame on PlayStation 4. So for me to literally start over on PC was frustrating and kind of sad. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I love this game so much. I kind of don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care that I'm having to do everything and that I just lost all of my insect glaives that you could ever want because I had every single one. But that's okay. I'll figure it out. But
theoretically, though, like when the Iceborne came out, though, they basically said, okay, all your really good equipment from the original one is crap now. You need to, you start at rarity level 9 and up at that point.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. So, we're not I don't think we're debating that that overall that Iceborne is not a good game. It's just like, I don't know if I would say it's a game of the year.
Oh, no, I am.
Yeah. You are? Oh man, it's a good game. But before we do that, but Zen also said something that they would love to debate too. That you wouldn't say it's essentially game of the year, but it's definitely a contender. The DL size was the same as the base game, 40 gigabytes without the high res texture pack. It revamped the entire flow and playstyle of the original feel of the game. But then again, that's what expansion packs do. I mean, that's exactly what an expansion does. I mean, they refine what currently exists and makes it better, makes it smoother, does revamps. Like, it's a physical upgrade pack. And I mean, and like I said, like, I mean, I love the game. I really love the game, and it's no knock to it. But but I'm just saying that, like, I wouldn't call it a thing because just on the base of it, it's not a game that you could just simply, like what Tosh was saying about like Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2. It's not a standalone game. It's just an expansion. I mean, like, there's all these there's these caveats. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you going to say, Smitty?
No, it's just maybe it's expansion of the year then.
Yeah, it could be expansion of the year.
Break it off. Oh, there you go.
It's definitely expansion of the year because like. Yeah, that would be. We'll call it that.
Because you're right. It is like another. It's like it's just as big as the base game and changes the whole feel and flow. So I think it's important to have big expansions like that too. They went that since they came out on PlayStation and throughout. Right, they haven't charged for a single update or anything. So they say, hey, if we're gonna make you guys pay some, I know you guys are loving this. We're gonna put a lot into this game and basically give you a new game. This is what it's going to cost you. And you can see that people have no problem spending the money on something solid like that. I love their approach to everything that they're doing with this, how they've handled it and just the these live server games and stuff like that. They so easily turn into a disaster. And I feel like they've done a really good job of managing this and giving their fans and the people that enjoy this experience and game what they want.
Yeah, very well said, Smitty. Because like I think like I totally agree because like they gave you like each of these the stuff that they've done. The community engagement has been great. You remember like I don't know if how often you played it, but if Lex has been waiting for a year on it, you may know what I'm talking about. But you remember
a year, Davis. A year.
You remember the contest where people had to design their own weapons and stuff, and then they send it out to Capcom. They've been very engaging on that, which is I'm surprised. They have two different sets now that are like that is fan made that's inside the game, and it's that's impressive. Cool. Yeah, that's no. Dope. Yeah, and then also, like, I mean, as well as, like, the different kinds of outfits. The integration they have on their older game IPs, like they did with Mega Man, Sakura from Street Fighter, Ryu, all this stuff. Like, you have Dante. They even have outside games like The Witcher and Horizon Zero Dawn towards it. I mean, like, it's a very well, like, you're right. It's a very well structured game that definitely cares about their IP, and it's no surprise why it's the most successful Capcom game ever that they ever made. So I mean, no, they've done a really great job on it.
They sure as hell dropped the ball on Street Fighter, but
Oh, they certainly did.
I don't know much about that, but I'll end my Monster Hunter rant with this. I usually come up with like 4 to 5 cosplay ideas a year. And I usually at least make 2 and then a Halloween costume. Like Halloween is big in my family. We've always done it huge. I go to competitions and do all of that jazz. For the last 2.5 years, and I can't get Monster Hunter outfits out of my head enough to actually do something and finish it that I'm enjoying enough to wear. The the details on all of the costuming is so phenomenal. That's my next cosplay that I'm going to work on for sure. Because the couple of outfits that I've created, just I can't get that idea of epicness out of my head enough to sit down and be happy with something else in a different area. Because I know if I went to the strip and wore a Monster Hunter outfit, there's maybe 20% in the crowd that are going to know what it is and enjoy it. And this was my first year going to a con besides like a Star Trek convention when I was a kid with my dad. And so now I'm kind of coming up with ideas for maybe we'll go to more cons and I can, actually do like a full-blown Monster Hunter get up.
Nice.
But I can't love that game enough.
Yeah.
Adam, please don't break up with me.
A year, Davis. A year.
I definitely will say that so it's definitely good. There's cosplayers I know, there's friends I know that actually do hardcore armor builds for that game, and it's insane. So I definitely I'll show you some of them, Lex. It's actually insane. Okay.
Oh, I've probably seen them.
Oh yeah, you probably have. Yeah, definitely. Tasherre, what is your pick of the year, or your picks? It could be more than one pick. It doesn't have to.
There's really only one. I mean, there's other great games that I played last year. Resident Evil 2 Remake was my first Resident Evil game I have ever finished.
Oh, okay.
I've started others, but that was the first one I've ever finished, and I really enjoyed that.
They did a really good job remaking that. Yeah,
they did. It was one or two others I could name, but the one. Oh, Jedi Fallen Order. That's another one that's in contention. But the one for me is The Outer Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
The reason... Now, a little backstory on me is I've never played a Fallout game. And before that, the only Obsidian experience that I had was the first South Park game, which was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw The Outer Worlds, I think it was at E3 when they announced it
this year.
And I got excited because it's like the comedy aspect, and I never got into Fallout games, but even though I know it's not a Fallout game, it's the people who created that particular concept. So it drops on Game Pass, which was crazy. So I didn't have to pay full price, but I kind of wish I would have paid full price for it now. It's an incredible game. That's my first true Obsidian quote unquote Fallout experience. The story, the gameplay, the dialogue, the comedy, the companions and how you interact with everybody, everything about that game, in my opinion. The music, the soundtrack is also incredible. Everything about that game is just 20 out of 10 for me. It is. Seriously. That is, and there's Parvati on the screen right now. Absolutely love her. Parvati and I can't think of the black chick's name. Those are my favorite companions. But everything about this game was just mwah, for real. That is definitely my game of the year.
It's funny, I've been a big story driven guy. Like, I definitely love playing like RPGs and a lot of different kinds of things like that. And especially one of my favorite of these story driven games, I would say, is what's it called? Fallout New Vegas. New Vegas is a great game, but the problem is it was really incredibly glitchy when it came out, and it still is to this day. It's been known, but I think it's the best Fallout game. And with this kind of game that came out, and it shows like the story can be done in a great, tasteful way, as well as gameplay mechanics. I mean, there are still glitches in it, which is fine. I mean, nothing is usually it's not 100% perfect, but that's fine. But the big thing is that it works and it's updated and it's all this stuff. And because of that, I will never I will be criticizing Bethesda so much more now, especially if they mess up on Elder Scrolls 6. about this stuff, which I feel like they will, because like what they did with like how Skyrim is still, even though Skyrim has been around since like 2010 or 2011, that they have no excuse to not update their engine to be their creativity. But
that's where I was gonna go.
Yeah, because this markup on what they did with Outer Worlds is exactly what we need for a next gen, and I hope this is the kick in the pants that Bethesda brings it up, because the way the story that ran was so nice, and I definitely I haven't beaten it yet. Tosh, have you beaten it multiple times, or have you only beaten it once?
I've only done the one time. I'm like 95%. It's a couple of it's literally maybe 2 or 3 side missions I didn't finish. Oh, okay. But I want to go back and do it again.
Okay.
That's a game that I was interested in, but I didn't see, and I have so many questions. So how long how many hours do you think you've spent beating the game?
I played, I would dare say 40.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad.
No, not at all. 40, 50, somewhere in that area.
Because earlier when you said Outer Worlds, I'll be honest, it didn't click in my brain what game you're talking about until I was watching the actual game and I saw the moon face guy.
Yeah.
That game looks really cool. I have no idea what it's about though.
A great and again, this is like my first true like RPG game as well. It's not the side scroll and what's the other concept
turn-based.
With the overworld turn-based. Yeah, it's not that. But man, is it such a great experience for somebody who has never really gotten into these type of games. I enjoyed everything about it.
Yeah.
And I would not mind playing it again. I love the dialogue, the different choices you have as far as responses.
Yeah.
It's absolutely sickening. You can be a good person, you can be a bad person. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I heard something where if you beat it once, you can go back and it unlocks another choice, which you could just do stupid stuff and give stupid answers. Like that's a lot of attention to detail.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, like, well, I do have a question though. You said you got it on Xbox Game Pass. Do you have the? Oh yeah, you're all PC. So you so what's stopping you to getting it? Just purchasing the game? I
think I may.
Yeah, I mean, like
I'm telling you, like I because I wasn't 100% sure I was going to enjoy it, but. And I played it on stream. That was like my first day that I had ever streamed at 8:00 in the morning EST.
Oh, wow.
Because I wanted to get a jump start on it.
Yeah.
But by the end of that day, I was convinced it was an incredible game and I was going to finish it and have a great experience. Had I not enjoyed that first day, the first few hours, I would not have, continued. But it worked out. No, now I'm not lying. I'm not lying when I say this. I think I may go ahead and buy the game because I heard they're going to do
right.
Here's that famous word. I heard they're going to do expansions to the story.
Yep.
I know all about that.
That's a great concept there. No, I highly recommend it for anybody. Not necessarily if you're into shooters, but I'm a shooter guy. But I like great stories. I like great gameplay. I love the voice acting and all of that stuff. Everything about this game is incredible to me. So I highly recommend it.
You said voice acting. I'm all in. I'm going to have to get this game.
Oh, they had whoever was playing every character was incredible.
Like, so there was so every voice actor in that game was good. It fit perfectly.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so Patikin says I came for the conversations, I stayed for the voices. that's what's going on. Yeah, so the oh man, so like wow, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I mean, I need to finish it up, but there's just so many games. But it's definitely on my to finish list. But that's the kind of game though too that you don't need to really rush. That's what I love about that, because that's the game.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so much exploration. That's why I'm on the fence. Like that game, and this year is going to be Cyberpunk 2077 and stuff. Like I don't even know when I'm debating if I'm going to even if I'm going to stream that sucker. I'm gonna suck.
Let's not talk about that. We
well, are you sad that they got delayed?
We got our. I am, but I'm not.
I'm glad it got delayed. I'm like,
yeah, I would prefer it gets pushed back and it gets the polish that it needs. So when it does drop, it's as you were just saying about Outer Worlds or Borderlands, it's as fully functional as possible without having many bugs. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm totally.
It just sucks because I was ready to. That was going to be my whole April, and some actually, because I might, depending on how great it is, I might give it another playthrough. But
I'm definitely going to get that game is going to be multiple playthroughs. Unfortunately, my plan was I was going to get it on Stadia, but now I'm thinking of getting it on just PC. We'll see. Zen Headshot is asking Tosh. Speaking of combat,
I was typing my response.
Yeah, have you played Nier Automata?
I have not played.
You need to play Nier Automata. That
I keep hearing. As a matter of fact, I was in another stream today where they brought that up. It was like, yeah, you would definitely like that.
That's one of my games of the decade. To be honest with you, one of my 5 games of the decade. Nier Automata.
Okay, can Zen and anyone else that has played this game, can y'all confirm this for me? It has 26 endings.
It does have 26 endings, but out of the endings, out of all those endings, I believe you beat the game. You have to beat the game 7 different times. But this game isn't like a 20-hour game. This game is like 5, maybe if you know what you're doing. Yeah, they're shorter games. So the first playthrough is there's shorter playthroughs of it. Depending on what you do, you can get the endings earlier. Like you can get the ending at the beginning of the first 5 minutes of the game. That's one ending in itself.
Really, I didn't know that.
So
that's crazy.
But the game itself is not like a long extended like Final Fantasy 50-hour game. It's just but the story.
See, I thought it was. I was under that impression that it was. I'm I'm not, because I heard it had multiple endings. Yeah, but I'm not about to play this joint, 100-hour game 7 times or whatever.
No, it's
right.
Yeah, it's a nice action, maybe like I said, 3 to 5 hours. Let's say 3 to 5 hours is the best way to say. If you want 100, like Zen Headshot took 47 hours for 100% of the game, but you don't. But really, there's 7 main story endings, and what's cool about this game is that when you finish one of the main story endings, it changes the intro. It changes the beginning of where you're starting, so you're not repeating the same thing over and over again.
Oh,
yeah. So it's really
that's dope.
Yeah, it's very cool. And the music. Oh my god, the music is one of my favorite scores I've ever listened to too. The music is just great. Yeah. So I think like I said, I legitimately think, and I bet you it's in Zen's list too, that it's probably one of the best games that came out within the last decade. So
let me ask this, because I have seen the first hour, I think it was, where it was doing all the different perspectives, where it was like a top down, then it was a side scroller, and then it went to the regular standard concept of the game. Is that throughout the game, or that was just the intro?
No, there's certain areas that are top down, and there's certain areas that turn it into a side scrolling. Yeah. So I mean, just different game styles. There's even like a Space Invader-ish kind of area to hack. To hack specific files and stuff. It's a little bit of it's a little bit of everything. But no, that's
crazy.
Yeah, Nier Automata is a great game. I would definitely suggest anyone to play that game. To play it out.
All right,
and it's all action. Nier Automata.
Put that on the list for 2020, man.
Yeah,
I'm streaming that.
Yep. Same thing, Lex.
I like things with multiple endings. We've been playing a cringeworthy game lately called Monster Prom.
Oh, Monster Prom! I love Monster Prom. It's funny.
Yeah. I finally got a date, but
it's hard. Yeah, it is very hard.
Forever. And you can play shortened or long version, and every ending is different, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, there's going to be expansions coming out this year for it too. So that's going to be very interesting. So so definitely that's a really good choice to choose to give Zen Headshot to Tosh. I think you would definitely enjoy it. Okay, and my pick of the year 2020. I have a couple of the year. I have it's funny. One of them is a surprise. I will say, because I'll do the one surprise, but I'll give you my main one this year. Surprisingly, I would say that one of my favorite games I like to play in 2019 was Luigi's Mansion 3. And I think, and the reason why is
explain.
Explain exactly, dude. That game is just flat out fun. I mean, it is the puzzles in it, the story. I feel that game is an underrated game. It's an incredibly underrated game, and I feel like it's one the playability of it is something that you can just let go and then come back to it. But I love the mechanics of it, and this is nothing new. I mean, this game has been around since I think Luigi's Mansion. The first Luigi's Mansion was a release date game that came out on the Game Boy DS back in their mid 2000s, but they refined it. The graphics of it look amazing, and it's just you can easily when someone says Luigi's Mansion, and they'll be like, "What? Are you serious?" It's like, no, I'm dead serious. The game is very yeah, exactly. Like I said, because you wouldn't expect it to be that good, exactly. But I think that this game, in my opinion, is better than Mario Sunshine. And then, or not Mario Sunshine, Mario Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah, better than Mario Odyssey for me. Yeah, exactly. And then the video, it's small area, and then just so much exploration, so much damage breaking, and you get this clone character of you that's made out of a gel or goo. Or slime or something that can go through sewer drains and stuff like that. It's really fun. It's very mechanical. I would suggest anyone that has a Switch to play this game, to definitely play this game. I think this was a very well done. If I didn't do the review, but if I did the review on our website, shameless plug, confreaksandgeeks.com. If you did that, then I would definitely give this game almost a 5-star. It is very interesting to me that how all this works. So Luigi's Mansion is definitely up there for me. Out of all the games of 2019, Luigi's Mansion is up there, which is surprising me because most people think of me as a Nintendo hater, which I'm not. I'm just a Zelda hater. But
wait, what?
Yeah, that's a whole different story. Okay, the other thing is I would say is going to be my main game of the year 2019 is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. As my favorite, is literally a game that I've been playing. I could play over and over again with the system. So I love hard games. I mean, when I play regular games, I always go into hard mode and stuff like that. But this one, I think what makes this game a little different for me is the mechanic is so much more precise than what Dark Souls is. Makes and stuff, because Dark Souls, it's when people think that when Sekiro is basically made from the same people who made Dark Souls, they're like, oh, okay, it's just a samurai story of Dark Souls. It is not. Dark Souls, you had to dodge, you rolled, you dodged, and stuff like this. Sekiro, you have to master parrying, just like how you do in Star Wars, but 10 times harder. With it.
Really?
Yeah, it's so you have to master the parrying, you have to master the skills on how on getting it going. It was a very, very fun mechanics to understand and stuff like that. So now I will say it's not as hard with the bosses. It's kind of up in the air with it, but depending if you master the parrying into it. But I just loved figuring all that out.
This looks cool.
Yeah, so you just needed to and you have a mechanical arm, that made you use grappling and stuff like that. So and then you can sneak around and do insta deaths and stuff. But the game is very, very mechanical. You have to know how to parry. You have to know how to dodge. You have to know when to dodge the stuff that you can't parry. And you just for the most part, I say most of it's fair, but there are some times where you're just literally pulling your hair out, where it's why? It's I got him, but why did he get me and stuff like that? Then you realize, okay, I'm not supposed to do it after you've died 400 times in this one boss, because that's happened.
Did you play JFO? I mean, Jedi Fallen Order?
No, I haven't played. I played a little bit. I'd say 35 minutes of it, so I haven't touched it. I will play it.
So you may have enough. Would you say the combat is comparable to Sekiro?
Yes. I think, like I said, I think Jedi Fallen Order definitely, their emphasis is the lightsaber. I mean, you have to know how to parry with that lightsaber. So in a way, I will say it's more like that. It's not about the dodging. It's mostly about the deflecting, and it's also more about the parrying on to leave your opponents open. So yeah, I would say it is. It's more of a lighter way of it. And trust me, I am definitely going to get Jedi Fallen Order, but there's just that piece of me that just makes me hate EA so much to do it. But then also but I'm waiting for it to drive to get the cost down. That's the big
for
thing.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, for JFO. Yeah,
I played that on Premiere.
See, I don't have Origins. Is that EA Origins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do
I
that.
played that on Premiere.
Yeah, I mean,
matter of fact, I paid for a year of Premiere because of Anthem, and I knew Jedi Fallen Order was going to be on there as well.
No, I mean, see, that's a good move, but I just don't like the idea of renting a game. That's just what it is. Like, I just don't want, like, I mean,
well, how about you change your whole standards, man? Come on, man, it's 2020.
I'm not. I will
Come
never,
on, man.
I will never change that standard.
Come join us, man.
Hey, Naughty Nimbus, how you doing? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I am not going to. I'm old school. I'm an OG when it comes to stuff like that. But the biggest thing is like I can't. The idea, no, don't like. Xbox Game Pass is probably the best thing for it because right now Xbox doesn't have games. They don't have their own specific games to push towards that, which makes sense.
It's gonna be that kind of discussion. I see.
Well, no, I mean that's just the realness of it.
I see what's happening around here.
Like the realness of it was like Xbox don't have their own exclusive games to give the reason for you to buy the system, so it makes sense to do that. But let's say that there's those games where it's like, oh, okay, I put 6 like the Outer Worlds. Like you have the Outer Worlds and you love the Outer Worlds, but then the second that you say I'm not going to pay for Xbox Game Pass anymore, you're going to lose it. You're not going to lose you're going to lose your access for it.
Yeah, but you've played the game, you've had the great experience, and in our case, you've streamed, you've made revenue off of it.
Yeah.
You didn't lose.
Oh, yeah.
You can always go back and buy it, when it's on sale. And not to mention that these services, I don't know about PS Now, but Game Pass and Origin. There's one other one I'm missing right now.
PS Now doesn't work.
It's God damn it. Ubisoft. If you go through their leasing rental service, they give you a discount to purchase it.
Yeah, but I mean, still, even if with the discount to purchase it, like, I mean, I don't know, it's like is the Xbox Game Pass on PC what, $5?
Yeah,
$5 a month, right? Okay, so $5 a month towards that with the massive amount of other games. That's I mean, it's a good deal. I'm not saying it's not, but like let's say Outer World has how many different kinds of endings? 7 different kinds of endings, 60 hour piece of thing. So let's say,
honest, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's multiple endings. So then you're realistically you're gonna be playing, and then if you really love that game, there's gonna be people out there who really loves that game that's gonna be doing that. With that massive amount of times, it's going to be clocked in, but you're still renting that game. I feel that like it would have been better for you to just purchase the game itself, and then instead of relying on it, because the second that you cancel it, you're not going to you won't have access to it.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Davis. Do you partake of the Amazon Prime or the Netflix?
Oh wait, Prime. You have to with Prime, right? Like what you talking about for video, right?
Yeah,
you have to with Prime. Well, Prime, I get it for the packaging, but yeah. As for Netflix, no, I don't have Netflix. Why?
For the people that's watching the podcast, you see me, right? It's the same concept, dude.
No,
it's the same concept.
It's not the same concept with that.
Yes, it is.
Netflix and what's it called? It's
yes, it is.
Can I play devil's advocate with that one, though? Because here's the thing. When we all watched Friends, the original, now it's on Netflix, but it was on regular TV. And unless you had a VCR to record it, or a DVR, which was much later, you didn't necessarily own it at the time. So I can understand where Davies doesn't get that connection, because it's
but the thing about it is unless Friends is in that shelf behind him, that argument doesn't make sense to me.
Okay,
it doesn't.
I first off,
I love you, bro.
no first off, the reason why I like physicals personally, I like physicals in general over cloud any day, because we don't know what the heck's going to happen in cloud. They can easily say one weekend they'll be like, okay, we're going to shut down this thing. Cloud services because of so and so maintenance, and all of a sudden something happened and they lost that game or whatever. I like having physical stuff, because like physical connections, just in case towards that, just in that aspect towards it. But there's certain games, like especially RPG. I'm not saying all things go underneath that, but I don't like renting. And then let alone if I'm gonna rent an RPG like that, that's definitely not going to happen for me, because especially how I play RPGs. So like so to me to say I'm going to be renting an RPG and then have to pay a monthly fee just so I can have access to it is a little bit excessive. But if it's something that's simple, there's certain games that yeah, I don't care. Like for instance, Spider-Man. I will never go back to a Spider-Man game, because after I beat the game, it's like I know I don't care about it anymore. I've already platinumed it. Yeah, that's fair. But it really depends on the kind of games that you're renting, but not as a full head bulk, which I don't agree with. That's what I'm saying.
Because I own hundreds of games, I'm sure, as you do. But for just I'm not a huge fan of the subscription option. Let me be very clear, because like in my world, as far as like the music stuff that I do, there are companies that rent you effects and dynamics and stuff like that. There's Adobe that gives you their Creative Cloud that you're leasing or renting, however you want to say. I would prefer to pay for that.
Right.
I don't feel like paying $600 a year every damn year. But when it comes to entertainment, I don't mind that. I mean, you pay, $10-15 to go to the theater. You don't own that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but like
I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not
saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, like, for me, I think my own personal preference is like, especially like for instance, PlayStation Now doesn't work the same way as as Xbox Game Pass or EA Origins and stuff. You have to buy the games individual on PS Now. Or the renting fee.
They got more of a Game Pass style that they just launched recently. They revamped it.
Did they? Okay, but like
the only problem is they started putting the exclusives on there, like God of War, but it's only on there for like 2 months.
Yeah, and you can't, and you also can't download the game on your system, which is weird. So you have to depend on their cloud service to play the game, and there's enough lag to be like, I don't want to play this anymore. So
but that's part of the revamp, though. They did change that.
I gotta look into that, so I'm not really sure. So I'm not really sure. I would need to see what
they lowered the price too.
They needed to, man. That thing was ridiculously expensive.
It was like $25.
Yeah, yeah. So
thank you.
Yeah, we'll look into that. That's the discussion in itself. We could say if renting better. And I think that's fine. But like, man, if the day when it comes, especially when they do releases of games like console systems, if they decide to say, okay, we're going to release a game, a system with no disc, and then you have to use Xbox Game Pass or buy them digitally, that's the day when I'll be like, I think I'm done getting console games personally. So because I think that's when it gets kind of like, oh wow, so you're basically just shutting the hammer down, because there's rumors that Project X is going to be that way. They're going to have a discless version and a disc version, and I think that they're going to get a lot more money with the discless version than they would for the disc. So because they're going to force people
you can get the Game Pass.
Yeah, because they're going to get the Game Pass, and I think that's like whatever. So let's see.
So yeah, let's have this discussion if you don't mind.
Well, another day, because we're actually at 58 minutes on it. So, but we will. It's cool. I like talking to you about this stuff. It's actually pretty cool. But yeah. So, but anyways,
see how you avoided that, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, yeah, he won.
That's my guy right there.
Tasherre. Well,
he's got to go do some research first.
We got to do some research. I got to. I'm not going to go walk into something I don't know.
Walking in blindly into the fire is the funnest part, man.
That's half the story. I can be talking out of my butt. They'll be like, okay, people will just understand what I'm saying. Yes, so no. I'm good. Okay, guys. This is episode number 32 of the CFG Gamecast. We are definitely going to be doing some cool stuff and things this year, 2020. Definitely keep us on here on CFG Gamecast on Twitch. You give us a follow up on here just so you don't miss a live stream.
Well then,
also check out
Sorry.
Perfect timing.
Mr. Smith walked in.
No more
I have a
yes,
Mario Kart tournament here.
He has to head
Yeah,
out.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm closing it up right now, so it's perfect. And also, yeah, so definitely go check, follow us on our new Twitch page. Give us a like or a follow, thumbs up, what have you, on any podcast services, which is always available on Mondays. And Smitty, what do you have planned for the week?
This week, so I'm totally terrible, and I totally bought Kakarot. Even though I said I wasn't going to, I did it. I couldn't help myself. It happened.
Hey, it's fine.
So I'll probably be playing that. And, you know, I mean, from what I saw, dude, like I got into it a little bit last night, but it's fun. I liked it, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. But probably playing that and Destiny 2, and then we'll be back. I'll be live tomorrow, I believe, as well. Smitty2447.
Okay.
Twitch.tv.
Sounds good. Lex, what do you have up for, up? I know you're very productive this past week, and so what do you have up?
Oh, you have no idea. So, on and offline. I think we might go root Smitty on at his competition in here in like a few. Monday we're gonna go live. It's Monster Hunter Mondays until further notice.
Monster Hunter month.
I know, right? Might as well call that Monster Hunter month.
Okay. You shush. Dedicated Mondays, all right? Because we have themed days. We have Spoopy Tuesdays, so if you like horror games, come on in on Tuesdays. We have a lot of fun. Wednesdays we usually do Overwatch, and then Thursday I know we're gonna do like a big old multi-stream playing some Risk of Rain 2 with some friends, which should be a lot of fun. But yeah, off stream I'm playing Monster Hunter, but during stream just on Mondays for right now.
Sounds good.
Further notice.
Awesome. And Tosh, man, what you up to this week?
I'm gonna do my best to get back tomorrow. I've had some health issues that prevented me from streaming this week, but I'm gonna do my best to get back tomorrow. We normally do Division 2 on Sundays, and I'm pushing to finish Red Dead Redemption hopefully this week if everything goes well.
Awesome. So it's Tasherre plays games. If you
Tasherre Games.
Oh, is it Tasherre Games? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, Tasherre Games. Yeah, for his stuff. Yeah, and also definitely go check out CFG Games tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some Monster Hunter on the PS4. Everyone's welcome as always. So definitely check that off, that stuff out. I don't know if you are you willing?
I'm Endgame on PlayStation 4.
Oh, you
so
are?
I'll join you.
Okay, so yeah. So
I
we
just
definitely
don't have Iceborne.
Oh, see, yeah, we're playing Iceborne right now. Yeah. So.
Adam.
A year, Davis.
Yeah. A year. Yeah. Then also we're going to be also I'm going to try to be finishing up the awesome game Indivisible on PS4 as well. So we're playing that throughout the week. I'm going to try to finish that sucker out this week so I can clear out my tablet for February and March, because I'm going to be playing some Fairy Tail. That's what I want before Final Fantasy VII comes out. But yeah, so definitely check us out on CFG Games, and we'll definitely be accepting y'all there. So definitely. This is episode number 32 of the CFG Gamecast. I'd like to thank Tasherre, our special guest for today, to stopping by, and Smitty. Smitty and Lex. Always thanks for stopping by, and we will see you next weekend on next Saturday for our next episode. So this is Davis signing off. Y'all take it easy.